Welcome to Wisdom Teachings with Dr. Amanda Love. Today's topic, opening into your multidimensional self. Opening into your multidimensional self. Multidimensionality seems to be a popular metaphysical term, but what exactly does it mean, and how do you access your multidimensionality? Simply put, multidimensional means more than one dimension. We already know that we are living inside of 4 dimensions. 3 of those dimensions are spatial, height, width, and depth, and the 4th dimension is that of time. These dimensions are familiar to us even if we don't put conscious awareness on them outside of when we are measuring something we want to buy to see if it's the right fit, or we are looking at our watch to check the time. It's simply the environment we live within based on what our consciousness perceives to be reality. What if, however, there are more dimensions than the 4 we know of, and how do we bring them into conscious awareness? When multidimensionality is spoken of inside of spiritual containers, it often comes with ideas of fractals, geometric wormholes, past and future lives, parallel realities, greater sensory capacities, communication with other galactic beings, telepathy, and travel beyond the confines of linear time. For some people, these ideas are incredibly exciting topics, and yet they seem impossible to practically experience. And for others, they just seem like sci-fi or fantasy. How do we bridge the impossibility gap and experience what seems like fantasy as reality? Certainly, it's obvious that there is more in existence than we can sense with our current sensory capabilities. The expanse of this ginormous infinite universe is evidence enough of that fact. Yet it often feels like a mystery to us on how to access more than what we sense with our senses. There is one definitional distinction to make before proceeding. That is of the difference between dimensions and densities. Densities are vibrational frequencies that exist inside of a dimensional or multidimensional awareness. You can think of the analogy of a beam of light containing different colors. These are like the densities. There are 8 basic vibrational states of consciousness, i.e. densities, that make up an octave within creation. There are infinite octaves of densities and likely infinite dimensions as well. Collectively, human consciousness vibrates at what is considered 3rd density and is moving into 4th density. When we move from 3rd to 4th density, we will still have physical form and we will still operate within 4 dimensions. But moving into 5th density vibrational awareness moves us into 5 dimensions. A 5th density vibrational awareness with 5-dimensional reality is a non-physical existence. You are still a being, but a being without physicality. All of that said, you can access these different levels of consciousness and dimensions inside of your current human existence in order to inform your current self. But you can't reside inside of these different higher levels without shifting from a physical to a non-physical existence. Understanding where we are now in our current state of consciousness inside of density and dimensional frequency gives our mind a contextual reference point or map of possibility. An awareness that there is more beyond our current knowing even though we don't know it yet from our point of view. Just like you've learned many things from the time you were born to now, you will continue to learn more things as you are exposed to them. When you were a baby, it likely seemed impossible to run, skip, or jump, yet because you had the inner motivation and drive, you learned how. Same is true for learning the next and next level of things that currently seem impossible to you. Things such as jumping parallel realities, telepathy, and connecting with information from your past and future selves and the beings throughout this universe. When we, in our individual consciousness, match the vibrational frequency of that which we want to know or access, then we instantly vibrate in sync with it and can know whatever information or energy that exists there. A match in frequency makes possible the natural exchange of information. This begs the question as to how you become a vibrational frequency match for everything that you want to experience and know. You have probably heard people say a million times in spiritual circles to raise your vibration. This is often associated with seeing people jump up and down, move their bodies all around, and always being positive in order to generate more energy in their bodies. You can experience things like this at a Tony Robbins program or other motivational self-help groups. This can be a helpful entry point, yet often the high vibrational state fizzles out a few days after the program ends because it's not self-generated. It's more like riding a high. We call this a temporary state change. It's great for seeing that there is more, yet if it's not sustained, then you will go back to your ordinary resting vibrational state. In order to match the vibrational frequency of what you want to experience, you must become it. Know that there is a version of you somewhere in the universe that already knows how to access everything you want to access. When you imagine that version of you that already knows how, notice how they feel, think, behave, and what they know. Then match that frequency. Let that version of what you are imagining be a template or a mirror for the current vibrational version of yourself that is here now. In this way, you will learn to match that frequency and have access to what is known at that density and dimensional frequency of existence. You already know how to do this. It is how you currently learn. We learn through mirroring and matching others in our physical reality. If you've ever spent time around a toddler, you know this to be true. They mirror everything we do or say. That is how they learn the vibrational frequency of consciousness here on this planet. You can also do this non-physically as well. You simply have to believe that you can. Clear out your impossibility beliefs that say you can't and know you can. Once you know you can, then it will be old hat to you. Remember, you once didn't know anything about this current state of consciousness you are in now. You learned it all, and you can learn whatever your big old heart desires.